Hello everyone, Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017. Of course, today is New Comic Book Day, and surprise, surprise, I'm actually doing a new comic book video on New Comic Book Day. With my new job, Wednesdays are now going to be the day I can do the videos because that is the only day available to me to do a video. So keep an eye out for more videos coming down the pipeline. Kind of a small week. I'll explain that after the video, I show the books and explain to you what is going on with that. So we'll jump right into it. Zombie Tramp 38. Of course, Dan Mendoza, local artist. Zombie Tramp 38 cover 2. It's kind of a takeoff on. There's a restaurant in Japan that's real big where they put food on top of naked bodies and people eat the sushi and stuff off the bodies. Kind of a takeoff on that. So I always thought that was kind of a weird concept. I don't want to eat my food off of someone's body. So Edge of Venomverse number 5. I believe this book came out last week, but the cover is super, super cool, and I liked it a lot. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. There was another cover of that with just the shirt where he's opening it up, and you see the Spider-Man symbol, but that was, in my opinion, the better of the two covers. Batman 29. I don't know if it's the new place I'm getting the books, but there seemed to be a lot of spine damage on a lot of the books from DC this week, which, you know, usually doesn't happen, but the Batman, the Trinities were all kind of damaged with some spine ticks. Speaking of which, Trinity number 12, little Deadman action there on the bottom. I always enjoyed Deadman. Wonder Woman Rebirth 28. Batwoman number 6. A different cover of Batman 29. And the last book of the day, Detective 963, Anarchy Reigns in Gotham. I love anything anarchy. Anarchy, anarchy, anarchy. I got a big anarchy tattoo on my arm, and I just love it, love it, love it. So those were the books I picked up. Now, what happened last week was, where I usually buy my books, I've been buying books there for about 7 years, and I spend a tremendous amount of money there weekly and yearly. And because the guy gets everything in print, and he's a nice guy, and he's still a nice guy. I'm not saying anything negative about him. There was just, you know, certain business practices that he did that I didn't agree with. There's some views that he has on religion and politics and people's sexual preferences that I don't agree with. But that's him, and that's his right to think that way, however he thinks. So one of the policies he had is when I opened up the shop was that he was not going to sell me vintage books. No bronze, no silver, no golden age. He said he didn't want to sell to his competition, and knew that I had a reputation for having high-grade books, and he didn't feel that he wanted to sell his books to me, so I, in turn, could turn them to my customers. So, you know what? I didn't agree with it, but it's his business model, and I could see his point from a business standpoint, so I never said anything. And for the last 2 years, I've continued to buy things from him and spend a tremendous amount of money. So, last week I went to pick up my books, and I picked up my, you know, big stack of books like I did every week for the last 7 years. And I told him, Stephen, now that I am no longer with a shop, do I get to buy older books? If I see something that I want, not that I wanted anything, but if I see something, am I going to be able to have the opportunity to purchase it? And he said no. Okay. So, you know, I don't have a shop anymore. And he said, no, you know, but you still do like your video channels, and you know, I'm just not going to sell to you because I'm not selling to my competition. I've told you that. Okay, I'm not competition anymore, but you know what? It is your shop, and you have the right to do that, whether I agree with it or not. It's not for me to say. That is your business model. If you want to sacrifice, you know, between $5,000 and $7,000 a year in book purchases for the possibility of $300 to $500 a year in vintage sales, that is your right as a store owner. But it is my right not to buy from you anymore. And I didn't. I will take my money to where I am allowed to buy what I want to buy when I want to buy. And again, it wasn't that I wanted to buy anything. It was just if I walk in the shop and he happens to get some new stuff in, I see something I might want, I want the opportunity to purchase it like anybody else. I don't think that's a big deal to ask because I spend a hell of a lot more money than most of the people who walk into his shop. But he had the right to do that, and I have the right to take my business elsewhere, which I have done. So it's going to take a little bit of time for the books that I pick up to get caught up because there were some specialty titles that I had to order, the adult covers being one of them. there's nothing that week. I talked to the guy today, and he was like, yeah, sure, we'll order whatever you want. You're a good customer. Because I buy my supplies, and I've been dealing with them on and off for, certain things for, as long as I've been in Las Vegas, as long as I've been, back in the comic book thing. So I said, okay, thanks. So I made a new list, so my week should be bigger and bigger as we move forward. So there is that. Again, that was just kind of a little spiel there. As it relates to the shop, of course, I'm closing that up, and it's pretty much all packed up. I have another week, but the bad thing is I only have 1 day a week to really do anything, so I'm getting as much stuff done as possible. I will be out next week. With that said, my friend who has Fire Force Comics is going to open up inside that swap meet where we're at to keep the spot open that we talked about. And he's going to be open officially on the 1st of September. So stop by and see that. And again, if you want to get a hold of me through there, I'm going to be able to put things in that shop. So you'll be able to buy some of the more vintage books, higher grade vintage that you're looking for if you're interested in that. With that said, I did put a book up. People have been sending me text messages. I am going to put more books up, but time is real minimal to me, especially trying to close up the shop and everything. But I did put up a Amazing Spider-Man 300 on eBay through my eBay store, Arkham Comics Las Vegas. And I got it as a mid-grade. I put lots of scans up there. So, take a look at it if you're interested in an Amazing Spider-Man 300. Don't let the price fool you. There is an option to send me an offer on the book. I just put a price up on there, and then I expect people to, haggle back and forth. That's kind of the nature of the beast on a book like that. But it's a hot book, of course, first appearance of Venom. And so with that said, someone said, hey, how are you going to ship the books, or how do you ship your books? Because you've been very outspoken as it relates to people doing a bad job of packing books. So that's a great question. Most of the time when people get their books shipped, they get them like this. Give me 1 second. And what you're looking at is 2 pieces of cardboard. You're sure if you've all bought books, you've seen this. It comes in an envelope. Sometimes it's a bubble mailer. Most of the time, just a manila envelope with some cardboard. You open it, bam, there's the book in there. It's good. It can be good. Here's the problem I have with that. If you have this can bend a little bit. You can see where it just bended up there in the corner, and that ultimately can damage your book. So I never like doing that. It's kind of hit and miss. If I spend money on a book, I want to make sure it comes there. So when I decided to sell books, I went with a company that sells something called the Infinity Holder. This is made for comic books. Kind of looks like this. It's a pain in the butt to put together, but I got a bunch of them put together. And what happens is this. I'm trying to back up so you can see this. The comic book, and this is fit, fits 5 or 6 comic books comfortably. Goes in like this, and then you just kind of seal it up. And as you can see, it's completely sealed in there, and this will not bend. It doesn't bend. And then this goes into an envelope, package, shipped. So if the mailman drops it, doesn't hurt the book. If he throws it down the street, doesn't hurt the book. You can't stuff this and fold it into the mailbox, so you don't have that damage to worry about. There is a cost factor involved in this. A lot of people won't do that. If you buy a book from me, when I'm selling on eBay, your book is going to come in something like this for the most part. If it's a couple of $1 book, I'm not going to send it in this. I pay for shipping, so I will pay the extra cost to make sure your book gets there in the condition that it was advertised, because the secret to a successful business is repeat customers, and the only way you get repeat customers is by giving good service, accurate grading, good prices, or prices that you agree with that are fair. They'll buy more books from you. And I'm going to put more books up there. Again, there's an Amazing Spider-Man 300 up there right now. Again, this was kind of a quick video. I'm just trying to touch bases on some things. As soon as I get the shop completely closed, which will be next week, officially, completely, I'm going to have more time to actually sit and put some stuff up. Tuesday is going to be the day I'm actually going to put things up. With the hours I work, I might be able to get a couple things up in the morning, but it depends on how much sleep I get and what else I have to do. So look for that stuff. Again, if you have any questions, send me questions. I have no problem with that. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the viewers still. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you don't agree with what things I say on my channel, that's okay. It's your right to not agree with it. I don't get butthurt if you don't agree with me. So again, real small week, but the weeks will get bigger as we move forward. And again, Look at the online store. You'll get your stuff properly. This is how I ship it. I hope that answered your question. So that's pretty much it. A real short video. So I hope you liked the video. And as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great night, and thank you as always for all the support and positive comments.